WCAU.
11:36 on 1210 WCAU. Thanks to all of you, men and women, who called in equally last hour and talked about equal rights for women. We're going to meet a woman right now, Lori-Nan Engler, who's probably doing the hardest thing you can do, and that is making her name in the show business world as an actress. And Lori, you went to Temple, and you're from this area, correct?
Yep.
Just a little closer. Born and raised where?
In the Fairmount section of the city.
Oh,
The Art Museum.
now how the heck did you get from the Fairmount section of the city to starring opposite Judge Reinhold in a big movie called Head Office, and you were in Blowout, and we've seen you on sitcoms. How did it start for you, and how did you get to Hollywood?
I started locally. I started working with a theater company in Philadelphia, and that led me to a small part in Blowout.
Must have been a great experience working with Brian De Palma and John Travolta.
Really exciting for my first professional job. Yeah, it was really exciting.
How do you know what to do when you go on your first movie set? I mean, you don't
believe me. There are plenty of people there to tell you what to do every step of the way.
And along the way, you've managed to get married.
Yep.
Now, I think, they want you to still get closer. They're yelling, okay, there we go.
How's that?
They lied to you. You do have to get close to these things. Now, and your husband is sitting next to you. You're in the music business. We've heard of you. You're in General Public.
Yes.
Okay, you're the drummer for General Public. Your name is?
Stoker or Andrew.
Andrew, okay. Yeah. Now, this must be very difficult to remain married in this world of Hollywood. I mean, they say don't ever take your marriage out to Hollywood because it won't last. How did you meet Andrew, and how do you survive?
I'll answer that one. We met in Canada, working on the movie. The band was in the movie.
Yes, that's right. The band's in the movie. Good music too.
We met on set.
Yeah.
And it developed from there.
And does it help that you're both more or less in the entertainment business because you understand the ups and downs of it? And
I think it'd be really difficult it's really difficult when one is and one isn't.
Well, so in other words, say you get a great big part in a movie and you go on the road. Is this
lots of phone calls?
Lots of phone calls, but you're going to try to just keep it together as much as you can. But it helps being married out there, I would assume.
Yeah, well, it's lonely when you're not. Yeah.
So what do you do now as far as the next role and the next thing you do? Because people probably, when they're thinking of women for roles, even though you've been in things, your name probably doesn't come into people's. You have to have someone to be in there plugging for you, don't you? To say Lori would be good for this role. Do you hire somebody like that?
Well, I have an agent in New York, a manager, and that's what they're responsible for. My agent actually sets up the auditions for me.
And you go out whenever there's a role that perhaps they need either a person of your physical characteristics or your age, or any young girl in a film you could try to.
Whenever he sees something that's remotely anything like me, that's his job to make sure I'm auditioning for it. That's what a good agent does.
And you need that. You have to have a good agent.
Well, it's next to impossible without
to do it without one.
Yeah. So you can't get in the door without an agent.
So how many roles do you try out for, say, in 3 months worth of time? It could be anywhere from what?
A good week you're auditioning 5 days a week. Could be 2-3 auditions a day.
So you never know when you might get the role, and then your life, you just have to live according to whatever, if it's a location or if it's...
Just pick up and go.
You just pick up and go. So is that the part of it that you like, or is it the work? Or because this is, I mean, people have to say, why would anybody want to be an actress when it's so insecure? And this is bad enough, what I do.
It's insecure, but it's so exciting. I mean, just not knowing where you're going to be the next day. Yeah, I like that part about it.
If you could have any of the roles that any of the actresses we know have had, what are you more inclined to want? Like the serious Meryl Streep roles, or are you into...
Definitely.
That must be what everybody wants, right? Every time she gets a role, you think, that's the one I want.
Head Office was real different for me. I'd never done much comedy before that. And I mean, most of the things I've done have been pretty serious.
And this was a physical role as well, or were they doubles? Because you had to do some running and some...
I wasn't hanging out of buildings, I'll put it that way.
But you would have if they asked, I'll bet.
I don't know about that.
You also have done soap operas.
Yeah, I was on a soap for a year.
The Doctors? Was it? Okay, now tell us how it's different being in a soap opera. That's hardest, isn't it? The hardest work you'll ever do, that I hear, or is that not true?
Well, it's harder because it was harder for me because it's not as spontaneous. It's a lot easier to be spontaneous than it is to have everything set and planned, and And it's a lot easier working in a real location than being able to see where the walls end.
Right. Having to use your own imagination.
Yeah.
And I guess they say because of the scripts involved, and if you have a major role, you're constantly learning your lines, so you have really no time to have any type of a marriage or anything. That's the part that amazes me, that you could both have careers and still have time to be together. How much time do you get? Is it enough? And
Well, he just finished a tour. He was gone most of November and December, so this is nice that we're together now.
Yeah, well, that's why we figured we let you in here together, so because you don't get much time otherwise. Well, we'll come back and talk more about anything concerning your career that you want to tell us about. I've got some more questions, and if you out there want to find out how they do it, just give us a call. 839-1210 from Philadelphia in the suburbs, 541-1210 from South Jersey. I know there's general public fans in the audience. I know that because I know of the band. I know you have a lot of fans around here. If you want to call up, just give us a call. Don't be afraid. 839-1210 from Philly in the burbs and 541-1210 from South Jersey. I'm Anita. The time is 11:41, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm trying to find out some inside info here. The two of you are living in town now. Who we're here with today? Lori-Nan Engler, who is an actress. You might have seen her in Blowout. You might have seen her in Head Office. You might have seen her on The Doctors or One Life to Live. Now, that's one that I watched. How long ago were you on that one?
That was about 3 years ago.
And what role? I'm trying to remember.
That was what they call a recurring role, and you come on every now and then. It wasn't a running principal role like The Doctors.
You didn't kill anybody or anything?
No.
Okay, I would have remembered that. And Andrew, who's in general public, you're sticking around here now and doing some work in Bristol in a studio.
I'm working at a recording studio called Corporate.
Corporate.
Am I allowed to say that?
You can say that.
Yeah, thank you.
Studios, okay.
Wonderful.
Well, we'll be looking forward to whatever you do next. When you do a thing in a movie like that, and then you walk away with the actress and everything.
Wonderful.
And I guess that was a kind of an easy place, easier because you two were right there.
Yeah.
It happened. And I think that's great because then you can go through it, whatever the ups and downs are together. And it'll probably work out better for you.
Yeah.
Now, give advice, both of you, to people who either want to be in a band who makes it and has a recording contract and goes on the road, or a young actress out there that would love to be on one of these soaps or perhaps star in a movie with, with John Travolta or Judge Reinhold. What do you do? How do you know if you're right for it? And how do you start? Do you have to have a dream? Do you have to believe in yourself? What do you need?
Well, I think to do anything, you have to believe in yourself. But I think acting takes a whole lot of that because there are constantly people telling you, you're not good for this, you don't look right for this. And behind that, you've got to have a constant belief, I'm good enough.
Because you know how many there are, and you know how many are working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many people in the Screen Actors Guild, and I think they say like 1% make over $10,000 a year or something like that. This is your life, so you keep studying. I notice you've studied with many acting coaches, and is that what you keep your?
You've got to keep studying. Yeah, I don't think you can ever stop studying because it's a growing process. It's not something that you've learned it and then you're finished.
Right. Yeah. They say practicing medicine. I guess practicing your craft, practicing your art, always hoping to become the character. I guess.
Well, there's always a new area of yourself to develop. Every new stage in your life. It's just a learning, growing process, I think.
And listen, I mean, at your young age, you've already got to undress Judge Reinhold. And how do you feel?
Let's not talk about that one.
How do you feel about it? You've watched her undress in that movie. What?
The boil was rising. Yeah, I'm an avid film watcher. I do get into films. She'll tell you. And in that scene especially, I kind of
look away.
It's strange, It's really strange seeing your wife on
we've had
a bed.
had this come up because there have been a couple of things I've been real close to since then that required some
nudity.
And we had talked about it, and it's something you have to deal with.
How did we end up? What did we decide?
It's all a question of how sophisticated you are, and I don't really think I'm that sophisticated,
So you say So in other words, you'd be pretty upset.
Well, I think I would at first, but if the role required it, I think I'd go. Yes, I'd live with it, darling.
Good. Okay, let's take a call from one of our listeners, and if you have any questions for either Lori or Andrew, just give us a call. 839-1210 from Philly in the burbs. If they're too loud, you get your own little volume control, one of the gray knobs. You touch anything else, I can't ensure your safety. It could be that ejection button, that we have for dull guests. So, Gene from Bristol, thanks for calling. You're on 1210 WCAU. Hi, Gene.
Hello, this is June.
Hello, June.
Mr. Stoker. I was wondering if I'm on this tour now.
You know this guy, huh?
Yeah, I finished the tour, June.
Okay.
Good? Are you going back to the studio, Stoke.
Yeah, I'm going to be working at the studio now.
The public? I don't mean the studio in Bristol.
Which studio?
I mean, you going back with the public to make another record or what?
Hopefully, yes, depending on, whether they can pay for my airfare.
So pending financial,
Yes.
you'll be with General Public, and they will record again.
Yes.
Does that make you happy, Gene?
You're going to be like the permanent drummer now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very
All
much,
right,
Jim.
Stoke, take it easy.
I told you they were out there, you see, and they know you're here now, so be careful.
Watch out.
Watch out. Is it more demanding to do a long movie shoot than it is to do a day-to-day TV role or stage role because you have to travel so far and you're in character and you're far away from your home? Or would you like to get up every morning, go into a studio and be done, they wrap and you go home? And which do you prefer? Which is easier?
I prefer going away on location because you can develop the whole life of the character you're playing because you're totally taken away from your life. When you're home working, you've got to go home at night and deal with your life.
I think maybe I should have dinner now. Maybe I should make dinner. Maybe I should, do the normal things.
It's just easier to be totally immersed in it, I think.
I find that these movies like Head Office, which I really enjoyed, which you say and will admit didn't do very well when it came out, and yet the cast, I find it's amazing. Rick Moranis, Judge Reinhold, Danny DeVito,
Eddie Albert.
Eddie Albert, that's right. The guy that played in Eating Raoul, was his, the little
Wally,
Wally, the little bald guy that we all, you can't.
Died.
That's right.
Ghostbusters.
I can't think of his. Yeah, I can't think of his name. He's in it. General Public is in it.
Jane Seymour.
Jane Seymour is in it. With a cast like that.
Bill Murray was in it.
Bill Murray wasn't in it.
Bill Murray was in it, but he got cut out.
Did he?
He played God.
Did he really?
Actually, it was a scene that they had intended to shoot where Christ comes out of a helicopter to talk to the head of the company. I don't think it panned out.
I guess people were more like the religious aspects of it. It was a dark, what they call black comedy.
Yeah.
And a lot of things in it were very true and not real nice about the corporate world. Do you think that had anything to do with the fact that it didn't do well? Do you think they sabotaged it somewhere along the line?
How these corporate types are the ones that see that these movies get put out. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to wonder. Bob from Fort Washington has a question. Hi, Bob. Thanks for calling 1210 WCAU.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
I'm wondering if there's anything that we can expect to see Lori in that's upcoming.
Not right now, no.
You kind of taking a hiatus or just waiting or?
Yeah, well, auditioning.
Is it hard? People always say that there's no good scripts out there, but yet everyone I know is writing a screenplay. Why aren't there more scripts? Why isn't there a ton of things for actresses and actors? And is it just what? If you make it to the...
Well, there are a lot of things, but the percentage of the work and the actors...
It's just, there
are a lot more actors.
Did you see Head Office, Bob?
Yes, I did, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Can you figure out why it didn't do better?
No, well, it certainly wasn't because of Lori.
Thank you.
No, you were great. No, you really were. And not a bimbo in this film. This was not a bimbo role. This was a good role for a woman who...
I was very happy about that.
Yeah, no, really, because I'll bet you get offered a lot of...
Actually, I haven't played many bimbo roles.
Well, you don't look the bimbo part, actually. No, he's laughing. You know what we mean? You know, bimbo. That's a phrase, I guess, that's reached all...
But I've certainly auditioned for plenty of them.
And that's an acting challenge, too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
I think when you're not a bimbo,
it's an acting challenge. Anything in mind, Bob, that you think Lori would be good for? That you thought of any role recently you'd like to have seen Lori in, or? Let's see.
Think of recently.
Yeah, but just looking forward to her next work.
Right, and all of the fans out there are saying hi, especially Bob and Joanne.
Thanks, Bob and Joanne.
Okay, Bob and Joanne. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I knew it was you.
Kaylin from Glenside. Thanks for calling, Kaylin. You're on 1210 WCAU. Hi.
Hi. I'm 16 and I'm an actress. Actually, I just started, and I've had a little part in a movie in the In Crowd, and I did a commercial. But I was wondering, how long it took Lori, after she got started, to really start working.
Yeah, what was the timetable involved? How old were you? And
I was 18 when I started.
Gee, you look 18 now. Seriously, you do.
Thank you.
You look. Well, you could play what? You could play. What's the youngest they say you could play?
I think right now, 19.
19, and then all the way up to what's a believable?
28.
28. Yeah. Not much though. Not much. And you did commercials
Yeah, a lot of commercials.
What would we remember? Anything that we remember?
Well, anything that has to do with feminine hygiene.
Yes. No. Now, no. You. Okay. Look, somebody has to do that. So she started out in feminine hygiene commercials and worked your way through to what was your first thing? First big thing.
The first thing I did for television was for PBS, and it was about teen pregnancy.
Ah.
It's called Mother May I.
Uh-huh.
And that happened pretty soon after I went to New York. It started pretty fast for me. I think I was pretty lucky.
Should Kaylin go to New York?
Well, that's.
Oh, I do go to New York.
Oh, you do go to New York. All right. You
Do you have
can't.
an agent?
I have a manager and an agent.
Wow.
Well, then just keep at it. I mean, I don't think there's any formula for when it'll happen, but I think as long as you keep at it and believe it's going to happen, it'll happen.
And keep studying. Do you study now with anyone?
Yeah, I do at West Barron.
In Philadelphia?
Yeah.
So there are good Philadelphia people that you can stay in the city and work with. So it's not an absolute necessity to go to New York. I'm sure there's more to choose from, but
Well, it depends on what. West Barron is a commercial course, isn't it?
Yeah.
so you're learning that first. You're planning on taking acting lessons or studying with any of the people that perhaps you've heard about, Uta Hagen or any of these other acting teachers.
Well, right now it's like so hard because I'm in school.
Yeah. Now, what do you do in that case? How is she going to be able to? I guess split her time? You have to work.
Well, I started studying when I was in high school, and I studied on weekends and night classes with some of the theater companies in town. If you want to really take serious acting classes, that's where you have to go.
Yeah.
And do any part, do anything, just
Almost.
well, no, I mean any legitimate thing, even no matter how small. In other words, don't wait for the starring role.
Oh,
Because
waiting forever.
All right, so take a small part, take one line, take anything to be involved, and the more experience you get,
Just being around it.
Yeah.
and take care of yourself because it's a tough business. And
Good luck.
yeah, good luck to you. Thank you, Kaylin.
Alrighty.
Okay, bye bye. She has a cute name. If the name is, did anyone ever tell you that you have, Lori, that you got to change? You got to change. You got to have a gimmick, or you got to. Did they tell you that kind of thing?
Well, they wanted me to change my name for head office.
They did?
Suggested it. They thought it sounded too much like Laurie Singer, and it was too long, and
Oh.
people wouldn't remember it.
I see.
But I wasn't about to go for that.
No, so you didn't. You wanted to be yourself. It's your real name,
Yeah, that's my real
and
name.
you're gonna stick with it.
Believe it or not.
No, they're getting back to real names. People are in radio. You're hearing any ethnic name. If they have the Linsky, that's their name. They say it on the air now. And look at these movie stars. Look at like Meryl Streep isn't exactly a name. I'm sure people try to convince her to change that name once or twice. Welcome to the hour we call Ask Anita. We've got some guests that have been nice enough to stay with us, and I made them rearrange new mics. I've given them a whole new area of the studio to sit in, and yet they're managing very well. You guys are great under any circumstances. Andrew and Lori. Lori, of course, the actress in the family, and Andrew from General Public, the drummer. And I have a feeling that you're one of the few two-career, both in the entertainment couples that I've met lately that I approve of. I think I can just tell that this is happening here. This is happening, and I'm glad to see it because Lori, you were warned against musicians, I'm sure.
Yes, I was told, don't go near him.
Don't go near. Okay, why aren't I getting Lori up? Why can't we hear Lori? We can hear Andrew.
No?
No, let me see. All right, well let's just turn them all on. Okay, go again.
Now, I was told that they were very risky musicians and to be careful.
And yet, when you met him on the set of the head office film, because you were doing some of the music for the film, you couldn't help yourself. Is that
I
it?
just knew. I just looked into those blue eyes, and I knew he was a sweetie.
You two make a great-looking couple, seriously, because you're both blonde and both very good-looking. And
Time bottle.
Almost we look alike.
well, you do. Do you think that's now? I know this is. I mean, because an actress, you have to like the way you look. Do you think that mirror image? Why Mick married Bianca? I mean, do you think that's got something to do with it? A mirror image? You like the way each other looks because you look alike?
I never thought of it.
Valerie and Eddie, come on, they look alike. Come on. All right. Well, we're going to take some questions from our listeners, and then we'll dismiss you, and we'll have Ask Anita at about 12:30. So everybody, hang on. Anne Marie from Jenkintown would like to ask the two of you a question. Hello, Anne Marie. Thanks for calling 1210 WCAU. What do you want to know?
Hi. Andrew said earlier that sometimes it bothers him when Lori has romantic scenes.
Yeah, he said.
I'm wondering if the reverse is true, that when Andrew's on tour and women are running on stage, if Lori feels the same kind of jealousy type thing.
Well, I could lie and say it doesn't bother me in the least, but
It does, I'll bet.
yeah.
Because
It depends on who's running on the stage, of course.
yeah, but it is the kind of business where part of your job, Andrew, is to be attractive and be, I guess, what you would call a I don't know, a
Sex symbol.
okay, a sex symbol, and the girls are there. It's part of your success. You have to be nice to the fans. How do you separate your?
Well, usually the young ladies we deal with are usually at least 10 years younger than me, so I find it very difficult. I mean, I'm getting on this.
Yeah, you are.
They're too young for me, basically.
Okay, and
I don't find any problem.
and this isn't your first year in the music world,
No,
so you
doing it for a long
time. You're obviously from North Philadelphia. No, just kidding. You're
Hey, what?
you're from Camden. No, where are you? Where do you hail
I
from?
come from England, Birmingham, which is about 2 hours up from London.
Okay, so now your lifestyles must be very different, and I guess. Well, no, you don't. How often do you guys actually live in a house together where you eat normal meals? And I mean, do you ever have like a normal couple's life?
We try.
Yeah. Do you think if you had to do that, you'd get along?
Well, we've had the arguments over my cooking already.
Okay.
I think if we had to go, the reason we met was because of our careers, and that's the reason we fell in love, because of the way we are.
And you both have your priorities and your list of things in the same order, probably.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, are you thinking of either getting into the acting profession or dating a musician?
No, but I have another little question.
Sure.
I am so nervous just calling. I was wondering how Lori or Andrew psych themselves up to not be nervous, because obviously that would come through.
Is there any kind of stage fright or anything that either of you experience?
I experience it talking about myself. If I have a script or I'm playing a role, it's not there.
If
At
you
all,
become someone else,
Yeah.
because then you're more secure because you know what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to say.
You're not as vulnerable.
How about you? You must not. You can't feel.
Yeah, I get nervous. I get the shakes. I need a glass of scotch before I go on stage. You know.
A little calming device before to get the vocal cords happening. Being the drummer of the band, sitting back there and the pounding.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's a good release?
Yeah, I get a lot of aggression out playing the drums.
So by the time it's over, you're fulfilled in a lot of different ways.
I look at the floor for about an hour and nobody talks to me because they know I'm too tired.
Too into it. Well, thank you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Gee, she shouldn't have been nervous. She was fine.
Great.
Yeah, Mike from Marlton, thank you for calling. You're on 1210 WCAU. Hello, Mike.
Hi, I just wanted to say hello to Lori-Nan. She was in my class at Temple University.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Did you ever date or anything? Did you guys ever date or anything?
We never dated, did we, Mike?
No. In fact, I saw Lori-Nan first at the Rhymers of Eldridge at the Philadelphia Company, and then I brought my wife and daughter to see her in Through Looking Glass.
Did you?
And Lori-Nan signed her program, my daughter's, and to this day, it's her most treasured possession.
I'm sorry we're getting a little static, but you heard what he said.
Yeah.
So did you know at that time, did people know that Lori was on her way to Hollywood?
Well, I certainly did. I'm sure all the people in our class did, but I'm not sure about the general public.
No,
Very good.
Very good. Nice pun, Mike. So, and I know you want to wish her well. Have you seen Head Office?
No, I haven't.
You have to see. You have to see it.
Ask Lori-Nan if she was in the Ever Ready battery commercials.
No, not that one.
No?
No. What are some of the other commercials? You said a lot of feminine hygiene products, but what else did you do?
Oh, McDonald's, Toyota.
Wow, big national ones. How much can you make? I mean, you have to tell me exactly what they paid, but
Oh, you can make a lot. You can make. Depends on how much it runs, but up to 10,000. I mean, more. if it
Wow.
runs over the years.
for one Mickey D spot, huh?
That's it.
Huh. Well, thank you, Mike, for remembering. And
Pleasure.
okay,
Hi, Mike.
okay, bye. Diane from Center City, thanks for calling. You're on 1210 WCAU. Hello, Diane.
Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Just had a question. I know you're not that old now, but I was curious. Did anyone play an important part in influencing you to become an actress when you were much younger? Did someone actually make you want to become one?
Well,
It's a hard life, I know, and you must have had someone who had.
I think it was probably two people. It was my kindergarten teacher, Olga Kuju, and my father. My father inspires me to this day.
How about
There you
that?
go, Dad.
He didn't try to tell you that that there's that casting couch and Hollywood and acting is for loose women, and he didn't do that, huh?
No, I was really lucky there. Both my parents are so supportive. And my father's, well, a stage mother.
Did they say did they say learn to type, Lori, so you have something to fall back on, or did they?
No.
So they've been supportive all the way through.
Yeah.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do. 2 brothers and a sister.
Are any of them interested in this profession, or
No.
no? And they didn't give you any problems when you said I'm marrying a musician.
No, they're all very open-minded.
How about that? So so you need that, I'll bet. You need that support and that
It helps.
positive energy. Huh. How about you, Diane? Any career aspirations for you in either music or?
I'm in acting. I'm in the travel business. I work for a travel company in Center City, so that keeps me quite active.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, don't book any of those rock tours. They're never satisfied with the rooms.
No, we deal with a little different clientele.
Yeah, right. You don't want the type that throws the TVs out. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys don't do that anymore.
Stay proud.
Well, thank you for your call.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm just kidding. I know they don't do that anymore. George, no, actually, people have really changed. Maybe we should talk about Italian dinner are over, aren't they?
I quit smoking 4 months ago.
Did you really? Good for you. How'd you do it?
Actually, I set a day about 3 months ahead of time and thought about it every day.
And you just
This is my
you
accomplishment.
worked up to it, and yeah.
It's easier said than done. I tried that.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Well, how about Andrew, though? You know how anybody, especially from England, that's in a rock band, I mean, they just naturally assume that it's got to be, a life full of sex and drugs and rock and roll. It's changing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's changed.
All that finished for me about 6 years ago.
And for most, I think. If you look at our big stars today.
Yeah, they're all very, very healthy. You look at Mick Jagger. He's one of the fittest men in rock and roll. He's got to be. He's 47.
It's got to be, right, because you look for longevity now because you want to be around and you want to continue to be youthful and do what you love.
It really surprised me the first time I was on tour with him to see all the weight equipment that they use, the workouts before going on, the vitamins.
That's wonderful.
So different than I thought it would
Well,
be.
sure, and I think that's good because rock is changing its image, and rock musicians, the way we all got together to save the world, try to help the world's hunger situations and all. I think it's been a real turnaround. It used to be that if you didn't do drugs or have a crazy life, you weren't accepted. Now I think it's almost completely opposite.
Yeah.
That if you see a guy, even if he's a great musician, and you see that he's got a substance abuse problem or a really bad problem where he's women, all these crazy things, I'll bet you wouldn't even want him in the band.
No, he'd be out.
See that? That's good. George from Bristol has a question, then I'll let you guys go have lunch or something. Hello, George.
Hello.
Thanks for calling. What did you want to ask?
First, I wanted to say I think Stoker and Lori are 2 of the nicest people that I've ever met.
Where'd you meet them?
Stoker stops in the studio here that we work at.
Where do you work?
In corporate studios in Bristol.
Aha, okay.
Plug this studio. That's a joy.
Well, we want musicians to know you don't have to go to New York City or LA to cut a record. You can do it right here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you like these, you didn't know them before.
No, I met them here at the studio.
And what surprised you about them?
Just how down to earth they are. They're not like your normal star.
I know what you're saying. You pictured it was going to be a lot of, the prima donna. They would expect some sort of prima donna treatment.
Right.
And they're not like that, are they?
No, they're down to earth people.
So what do you do there? What is your job, George?
Oh, we have a fire and safety business too.
Uh-huh.
And I work in there. And we do little things here and there at the studio.
And for people who want to make a demo tape or a record, is that the way to do it? If you're looking to get a record deal, you have to have a demo tape, is that?
Right.
Yeah. That's the only way to do it.
And are you interested, Stoker, is that what they call you?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you interested in producing bands or getting into anything like
That's
that?
what I've been doing at the studio.
You're producing who are you producing?
Well, at the moment we're going to be working with Honor Society. We've done a lot of local bands.
How do you feel that Philly does in the category of local
there's
bands?
a lot of good groups. There's a lot of bad groups, like any other city.
And you think some of them could possibly be the next general public or something?
Yeah.
Have you
I don't know about the next general.
Well,
next Rolling Stones.
all right, there you go. So you're happy with George and the boys down there?
Yeah, they're cool as cucumbers.
I have one question for Stoker.
Yeah.
Does he like producing or playing better? Which one's his favorite?
Producing, George.
Seriously?
You don't mind that studio? Isn't it tedious? Isn't it?
Well, no. If you're a musician and you don't know what the producer's doing, then it is incredibly tedious. But when you're a producer, you're working all the time and you follow it through.
I see.
So it's good fun.
How about as compared to being out with an audience?
Well, I've always been a live drummer. That is my forte. I'm good at getting a lot of energy from the audience, and I love that so much. But
So you'd rather
I'm getting old. Well, I'm not getting old. I'm just looking to my future.
Over the hill.
over the hill, the two of you. Well, thank you, George, and continued success to everybody down there.
All right.
See you later, George.
Well, soon.
Okay, they're all screaming in the background. Hey, you two are great, really. I usually have bad feelings about like when musicians and actresses get to. I think this is going to be great. I think this will go 40, 50 years at least. You planning a family?
Yep.
Yep, he says.
Not
Whoa.
anytime real soon. Somewhere down the line.
I'm in there first.
All right, yeah. Well, that's great. Well, continued success both to you, Lori, and whatever you do next, and to you, Andrew. And we'll be looking forward to both of your projects in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Just being here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go have lunch. John will buy.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.